I found a good way of explaining directives is to break them into two categories, components and containers. So a component would be something like a clock with an attribute with a time zone. We'll say that's MST, and then we'll create our directive here, app clock, restrict it to an element, scope where we let the time zone come in as a string, and then the template can be something simple that just displays, let's say a div that binds, or we'll do 12 p.m. and then binds to the time zone. So if we look at that, it's just 12 p.m. MST, and MST is coming in from the from that attribute. So that's a component. Just kind of display the data you pass into the attributes, and that's all you have to worry about. Now a container would be something like a panel where you'd pass in an attribute like I'm a title. Then when you create this panel, you'd say again app panel restrict e scope. This time we're passing in a title as a string, and then our template is going to look a little bit different this time. We'll have a div, which is just going to be, well, let's just fake a style here, border 3 pixels, solid black, let's see, black, and then we'll put some stuff inside of our container. The first thing will be that title we passed in. So we'll create another div. This will have a class of, I don't know, alert boxes, kind of title-ish. And then we'll pass in the title. So if you refresh, you can see we kind of have this black border, I'm a title thing. And then let's break that into a couple lines. So now that we have the title, separate that there as well. We can also add content underneath of it, or underneath the title itself. What we can do here is actually add a component inside of the container. So we'll say time zone is, we'll say PST this time. And then we can add that content in using transclusion by simply saying transclude true. And then when you create our div in here, we just say ng transclude. And that will yank the content again out from here, and then paste it, or copy paste it, however you want to think of it, to where you drop that, wherever you drop that. So now we have what I like to call containers, where we've created this panel component, which is everything. We can separate these just by cheating. So we have the regular component just up there at the top, which is just displaying the time with the time zone attribute. And then we have a container component, which has its own attribute just for the title, but then it also allows you to put in any sort of components or any other data you want to pass in, any bindings or anything you want to pass in, simply by using transclusion to drop it inside of what your component is going to be. So hopefully that explains kind of the conceptually a way of approaching directives, one way of building reusable components which just display data through the attributes, but nothing inside of those tags, and then containers which allow you to pass additional content into the container. So say for example, if I were to duplicate this and add a few more clocks, you can see I have 2 panels. Each of them have different content inside of the containers, and transclusion allows us to modify that content inside of the containers.